Yesterday, July 4th, 2026, 400 Patriot Front members descended upon Washington, D.C. and held basically a Nazi rally that went from Union Station and branched out onto our nation's capital. Before they did that, they terrorized the Washington, D.C. Metro Transit system. One of those stops was New Carrollton Metro Station in Maryland. Masked, dressed in khakis and black shirts, a black female was surrounded by them on a train. This is the Woke Socialist Podcast. Please like and subscribe to this video. It will not only boost our algorithms, but it will also keep you informed as to what is happening right now in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, our nation's capital, as you sleep all over the rest of the United States. Now, we have a very large problem in America. There is a dividing line between what is perceived as patriotism and what is not patriotism. Now, let me be clear. Anyone who crosses this boundary from this day forth is not a patriot. I don't care if you're white, brown, black, red, or any other race. Your job as elected officials, as citizens of this country, and as beneficiaries from the original sin of slavery is to contribute to this country or leave it. That being said, for all you people that think there is nothing you can do and you have to doom scroll on podcasts and you have to vote blue no matter who, or you're poor, or you're not working, or you're disabled, or you're anything else, there is one thing that every person can do in the United States right now to reverse this trend of racism. If you have the address to the Supreme Court, if you have the address to your elected officials, if you have a social media platform, if you have friends, neighbors, or relatives that come from a foreign country, there is something you can do right now to stop this shit right in its tracks. The most powerful black man in America is not who you think. It is not Hakeem Jeffries. It is not Cory Booker. It is not anyone you would ever think of. Since 1991, the plot to kill American democracy was placed in the United States Supreme Court. And that thing was told and programmed to believe that it was white. If you have a pen and paper, if you have a anything going, a printer, a voice, some corner you can stand on, some No Kings March you can organize, some Black Lives Matter march you can organize, some anti-Trump march you can organize. But if all you can do is stay at home and use your telephone and your pen and your paper, you always have a voice. And if you are one of these people who possesses a pen and paper, or the internet, or legs to walk, or a venue to protest, then do yourself a big favor, and it might be the biggest favor and the biggest thing that you can do to save this democracy. Each and every one of you can mail a letter to the United States Supreme Court and inform Justice Clarence Thomas that he is not white. The biggest abomination in the United States history was the placement of Clarence Thomas on the United States Supreme Court to replace Thurgood Marshall. Clarence Thomas is absolutely the Stephen Miller of House Negroes. And let me be clear, Clarence Thomas is afraid of walking around the state of Virginia where he lives, or venturing into Washington, D.C., because he is paranoid that people hate him. And we do. I'm not a peace-loving Democrat. I don't want to be on two sides of the aisle so that my elected officials can continue to take AIPAC money and enrich themselves and get reelected. I am out for blood in my family and the resurrection of the United States of America, for prosperity, unity, preservation, and liberation for the next 7 generations. We did not inherit this land from our forefathers. We borrowed it from our children. And until you realize that, and realize it right now, the biggest threat to democracy is not communism, as they say. It is socialism and freedom, as we say. We are the free party of the United States of America. We are not terrorists for advocating for free lunch for kids, not killing children in concentration camps, not abducting people off the streets of the cities of America. We are not for desecrating property that was built by slaves, as Donald Trump has done, and you have witnessed with the demolition of the East Wing. And now, the ellipse. This is not the Gilded Age of Donald Trump. For the white Appalachians who use black people to fight for union rights, for coal miners. This is not the Gilded Age for poor white trash to rise up with incels and decide they're going to claim that they built this country. You didn't build a goddamn thing. Everything that was built in the United States of America before there was open immigration was built by black and Native American people. But I digress. These same people that claim white supremacy in the United States, their own people, did not want them here. Remember the 5 points in New York City in the 1840s and beyond, when only so-called natives were accepted and white trash Irish were not wanted. These are the same people who indoctrinate hatred and then only accept those who will follow. Every country besides the United States that every white person fled to has been pillaged and plundered over the centuries. And this is the history. So you can erase our history. You can pretend we don't exist. But the buck stops here. This isn't 1963. This isn't 1863. And as sure as hell ain't 1492. So let me tell you something. What you see right now with the east wing of the White House and the ellipse is exactly what happens when white people claim white supremacy on a country. It is a gilded ghetto. It is not the gilded age of anything here. And if you're an elected official and you think you're black and you think you're exempt, or you think you're Jewish and you think you're exempt, and you think you can latch on to AIPAC and that's going to save you, it's not going to. Now, Donald Trump made a statement in South Dakota the other day that they were going to exile all the communists. This is what I say to that. First of all, you have no military because you doged them all. You threw out all the people with the knowledge of everything. And now they're joining us. Then you demeaned black people, tried to erase black history. And those are the doctors that are going to cure you of what is going to kill you. But now they're joining us. So what you're left with is low IQ individuals and AIPAC members of Congress and Senate that think that the road to the next 7 generations is going to be bought by the presumption of our ignorance of what they stand for. This is not the case. If you are still not on board with liberty, inclusion, and freedom as we see it, 340 million Americans living in the United States right now, you no longer represent us. This includes every creeping corner of the United States government under Donald Trump and both parties. We are winning freedom in the state of New York and about to win the state of Detroit. I'm sorry, the state of Michigan. Because we stand for what is right and what is good. Elvis has left the building. This is not 1963. Clarence Thomas is not white. Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries are not the future of the Democratic Party. If they are, then count on a third party. Because the rule of the day, the vision for tomorrow, is medical care for each and every person in America. Ending homelessness. No child should only have one meal a day. No more wars against countries for greed and capitalism in the interests of the wealthiest people. The minimum wage right now is still $7.50 in most states. This can and will not stand. So if corporate Democrats fear us, they should. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Now, in the meantime, notice something. Everywhere white people go, and have gone throughout history, from country to country, continent to continent, they pillage, they extract, and they make that place a ghetto. Now you take a look at the White House in the city of Washington, D.C. right now. And this asshole in the White House saying he made it beautiful. And all these white supremacists on Fox News and MSNBC and CNN, they get on there and they talk about how great this nation is. This is a white fucking gilded ghetto. You now live in a shithole country. And this country did not become a shithole by black crime or black people that were forced out of housing. It didn't come from disenfranchised black people who were never given reparations for slavery. It didn't come from black laziness. It came from white people coming from another country, exploiting the resources, and claiming that they built something when it was done on the backs of yet another people of color. These people, their government, and their ideas have absolutely nothing to contribute to the voting electorate of the United States of America. Their loyalty is in Israel. Their loyalty is with PACs and big business and nothing less. So if you still want to live in the United States of America and wave the American flag, you better get used to doing what the fuck we need you to do. Because we are the majority. And if you don't like it, if you have a problem with people that we love, if you have a problem with liberty, if you have a problem with the rule of law, the United States Constitution, Miranda rights, and due process, then you need to get the fuck out of our country. Because it's not going to stop here. We're just getting started. Because you are the traitors to this country. And you can parade around Washington, D.C., around the capitals, with police protection. But when 300,000 Americans descend on a city, let us see what you do about that. And that time is coming soon. And that time will be the second American Revolution. This is the Woke Socialist Podcast. Have the day you deserve.